Please enjoy the video now.
Nanjing Massacre, in my opinion, is one of the most tragic events to happen in China, resulting in 200,000 to 300,000 deaths. The Second Sino-Japanese War started on July 7, 1937, as a result from Japan invading China. The war officially turned into an all-out war following the Marco Polo incident. In a part of World War II, this war lasted from July 7, 1937 to September 2, 1945, a total of 8 years. The war ended with anywhere between 3 million to 5 million military casualties from just the Japanese. China was worth a whopping 3,800,000 to 10 million military casualties, more than 1 million soldiers captured, and 266,800 to 1 million prisoners of war dead, making a total casualties 15 million to 22 million. The Battle of Shanghai lasted just a few months, going from August 13, 1937 to November 26th of the same year, the Japanese taking the victory. It was one of the largest, bloodiest battles. It later took on the name of Stalingrad of Yangtze, and 300,000 deaths from the Chinese side, and the Japanese admit to 9,100 dead, but the actual number is probably twice as much. Japan won that battle after China retreated. Following the bloody victory on Japan's side, they started to focus on Nanjing. In fear of losing his men in battle, Cao Chun ordered removal of all Chinese troops, leaving it defenseless besides untrained auxiliary troops, and banned evacuation of its citizens for some reason. Many ignored this ban, however, and fled anyway. A safety zone was set up in November and was about the size of Central Park. On December 1, 1937, Cao Chun ordered all citizens to go into the safety zone on the western border of the city for their protection because the Chinese government abandoned Nanjing. Japan ordered a 24-hour surrender, and China did not. The events after this was the Nanjing Massacre. So before I start this, I'd like to say that this has all been textbook stuff and obviously doesn't have people's primary. For the next part, me and my lovely partner are going to try our best to put in people's actual experiences. Once again, I'm going to put a trigger warning: extreme acts of violence and sexual violence mentioned. On December 13, 1937, the first Japanese troops, commanded by General Matsui Iwane, were sent into Nanjing. Even before their arrival, however, word had already spread of their atrocious acts against the Chinese, such as killing contests and pillaging. Back in Nanjing, Chinese soldiers were hunted and killed in thousands to be left in mass graves. Entire families were slaughtered, everyone from elderly to infants. Women were raped every day. The Japanese were so determined to destroy everything that they looted and burned down one-third of the buildings in Nanjing. Originally, the Japanese agreed to respect the safety zone, but no, of course they didn't. Even though Japan declared in January of 1938 that the situation was under control, killings didn't until the month after, on February 1st, 1938. I could only find 3 people who talked about their time during the Nanjing Massacre, but here's what they had to say. During the massacre, a puppet government was installed and it went until the end of World War II. Although there is no official records, total estimates range from 200,000 to 300,000 deaths. Soon after, Matsui and his lieutenant Tanihaiso were tried for war crimes by the International Military Tribunal for the Far East and were executed, the only people blamed for the death of hundreds of thousands. Anger over this event still colors Sino-Japanese relations today. Some people say that the death toll is a little dramatic, while others deny it happened at all. We were also told to answer 2 questions, so here they are. Question 1. Is humankind inherently good or evil? Humankind is born neutral in my opinion. We have no morals, we can't differentiate the difference between what's good or what's bad. What makes us good or evil is how we grow up, and good or evil is different depending on the person. What environment you grow up in is what makes you society's version of good or evil, not your genes. Of course, people could argue that inherited mental illnesses could make you evil, but that's their version of evil and not yours. Question 2. How do individuals develop values and beliefs? Values are long-lasting beliefs. They are important to a person. They are what makes people order in their lives and make their own choices. Beliefs are made when someone sees them as important. They are both developed by experience, whether it's something from the good past or a recent traumatic event. So, yeah, that's the Nanjing massacre. Any of this info is wrong. Don't blame me, blame these sites. Okay, bye.